Well, I'm Lilse Engel. I grew up here in Savannah. I do post-production audio for films and TV. I spent the last 35 years in Los Angeles. The last 8 I was at Warner Brothers and worked on tons of huge TV and feature films. TV like Arrested Development, Mad Men, One Piece a couple years ago, all kinds of things. And features like Monsters Ball, the Austin Powers series, lots of things. You can go to my IMDb and look it up. But so I'm just here to be part of the film festival, let people know I'm here in town.
What is it that got you into post-production and why post-production?
Well, I've always been a musician, and so I wanted gear to record music with, and then I found out I could parlay that into post-audio and get paid. Being a musician, sometimes it's hard to get paid, but...
Favorite genre?
I think
that you like to work on?
I like comedy. And you know, as a sound designing person, things like horror and sci-fi, you know, have kind of a lot more of that. But then when I did Arrested Development, trying to use sound comedically is an interesting angle to enhance the comedy. It's less straightforward and a little bit more, has a lot more nooks and crannies to try to use sound to make people laugh.
So from first starting out to now, how has the process been?
Well, there's been the evolution of the digital workstations. I started with, 2 tracks of audio and a sample card with 8 megabytes on it. So we had to design and then lay every sound back onto the tape. But then I worked for a place called Digital Sound and Picture in the 90s, and we were the first company in the world really to do everything digitally. And we worked on like Herc and Xena. That's where I did the Austin Powers stuff. Worked on a lot of Showtime things. Those are kind of the claims to fame of that. But all the people that worked at Digital Sound and Picture are now peppered throughout the industry at all the big places: Sony, Universal, Warner Brothers. So we were kind of like the kids that were crazy enough to try something new, and we did it, So it's been a long road, but fun along the way.
Have a battle somewhat with AI.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Dangerous. There's some great AI tools that you can use to help clean up dialogue, which is great. But then I just saw somebody advertising an AI tool that will replace the dialogue editor, where you give it the script, you load in the script and all the audio files, and it will cut all the dialogue like instantaneously for you. I'm sure there's going to be some rough edges here and there, but that's a whole position that could be replaced. And for me, films are about humans talking to other humans about being human. So just having AI, I've fooled around with it, like for a script idea I had. I'm like, I wonder what GPT is going to say. And I put it in, and it just kind of gave me this very generic kind of, this is the most obvious thing. And granted, I didn't fool around with it for too long, but I was just, it's kind of a starting point, but it's not giving me anything that seems original, that seems like it's something new to think about. It's more just kind of a homogenization tool that it'll say, write me a comedy, so it'll go and look through all the comedy movies and then kind of, saute that down into like what it thinks is great. But I think people have better ideas about life and love, whatever your subject is.
Lastly, your advice to any young up-and-coming sound engineer?
It's a tough one. I'm not sure, diversify all of your talents for sure. I'm exclusively post, actually, but learning how to do the production side of it, especially here in Georgia, because there's a lot more of that going on. I think post has kind of been Well, up until recently, it's been kind of the forgotten stepchild, I guess, of the bunch. It's been produce the shows, shoot them here, and then take it back to LA and do your post there. But that equation is changing. I used to tell people, I tell young people, just get your butt out to LA and run coffee for somebody for 6 months, and if you'll show up every day and do things right, then they'll give you a reel of backgrounds to cut or something, and then I'll show you. And I know tons of people who got into the biz that way and just did it. But LA is tough, man. It is so expensive, and it's just kind of not fun anymore. At least it wasn't for me. I played all over that town in my rock bands, and I had a great time. I'm not going to take anything away from it, but it's just for me at this point in my life. I grew up here. I was just looking for a little bit something more mellow, and I love Savannah. It's just gorgeous day to day. It's a beautiful town. So I got a lot of friends here, and ready for a new adventure in life. So here I am, just trying to establish myself a little bit. I have a stage. I have an Atmos stage at my house, 714 Dolby Atmos mix stage. So I want people to know that that's available to, I can do work for, if you're making films or commercials, but I could also make it available for students who need some stage time, because over at Hamilton Hall, it's always booked up. And, when you're first starting out, you want to be able to just go to a stage and play around with it and learn how to do things yourself, because, reading the book is one thing, sitting there and doing it is another thing. So I want to just make people aware that I'm here, and, with mentoring of students, tutoring, all that kind of stuff.
How do people get in touch with you?
Well, you could go to lyallengel.com. That's, yeah.
Regularly?
No. It's always confusing. Lyall is Lisle, like Isle of Hope with an L on the front. Lisle Engle. That's my name. And you can go to my website and reach me through that. It's easy.
Appreciate your time.
You got it, man. Pleasure.